Title: They broke the rule and scanned a human warship. What happened shook the galaxy hook. First 5 to 7 minutes. No one was ever allowed to scan a human warship. It was the one rule every species followed. The reason? Unknown. The risk? Unthinkable. But one alien commander broke that rule. What he saw didn't just cost him everything, it changed the galaxy forever. In the cold void of space, the alien cruiser Veltrax 1 moved silently through Sector 19. Commander Ulick of the Varn Empire stared at the massive object ahead. It was still, dark, floating like a sleeping beast, a human warship, the HSS Revenant. Rumors about this ship had circled the galaxy for years. Some said it was alive, others said it could vanish in seconds. But one thing was always clear: never scan it. The Galactic Council made it law. Even the most powerful empires obeyed. No scans, no approach, no questions. But Ulick was different. He had won many battles. He believed humans were overrated, weak. And this warship? Just another old machine. "I want a full scan," Ulick ordered. His crew froze. "Sir," said his first officer, voice shaking, "that breaks council law. We could be executed." "I said scan it," Ulick shouted, and they did. At first, nothing happened. The screen lit up with strange shapes, lines, circuits, energy levels no Varn system could understand. Then came the signal, a sudden pulse, not from their ship, but from the human warship itself. The lights on Veltrax 1 flickered. Alarms screamed. The controls went dead. One by one, the crew collapsed, fainting, screaming, or vanishing into thin air. Ulick stood alone, trembling. His eyes locked on the screen as the Revenant came alive. Its engines didn't ignite. It didn't move. But something inside it had awakened, and it was watching him. A voice filled his mind. "You were warned." Then everything went black. When the Veltrax 1 was found days later, it was empty. Silent. Only Ulick's broken transmission remained, his voice shaking, whispering. One message over and over: "We shouldn't have looked. Let me know when you're ready for part 2, and the alien crew vanished without a trace. But before the ship went dark, it sent out a single scan log. Now the whole galaxy wants to know what was inside that human warship, and Earth is not happy. The Bay Council was in chaos. The Varn Empire's warship, Veltrax 1, had broken the sacred law. They scanned a human warship and paid the price. Now, only one thing remained: a corrupted scan log. Just 8 seconds of data. But those 8 seconds changed everything. The file spread fast. Dozens of species tried to open it. But every time they did, something went wrong. Ships powered down. Data cores melted. One research base even exploded while analyzing just one frame. The log was more than data. It was a warning. Meanwhile, on Earth, the United Human Command held an emergency meeting. General Raven stood before the military council. "They broke the rule," she said coldly. "Now the galaxy must face the consequences." Behind her, holograms showed the silent wreck of Veltrax 1. No bodies, no damage, just emptiness. Captain Idris, commander of the HSS Revenant, was recalled to Earth. He had been in stasis, resting, waiting, when the scan happened. Now he was awake. He stepped out of his cryo chamber, eyes sharp, calm, dangerous. "They touched it," he said, looking at the images of the enemy cruiser. "They opened a door they couldn't close." "Can you explain what they saw?" someone asked. Idris only shook his head. "If I told you, you wouldn't sleep again." But the Varn Empire wasn't sorry. They were furious. They believed the humans used dark technology. They accused Earth of hiding weapons that could destroy planets. And so, they sent a message to the galaxy. Humans are a threat to peace. They must be disarmed. It was a mistake. Earth didn't respond with threats, no shouting, no anger. They sent only 3 words: "We are coming." And across the stars, silence fell, because when humans move, something always follows. The galaxy had heard the human response: "We are coming." But no one expected what happened next. There were no giant invasions, no angry speeches, no mass destruction. Instead, human warships just appeared. First, at the edge of Varn space, then near Council planets, then above secret bases that weren't even listed on any star maps. The ships were quiet, black. Their surfaces didn't reflect light, no engine trails, no communication. They simply floated, watching. The Council sent drones to scan them, but the drones never returned. Some vanished, others sent back only static and strange symbols. Symbols no AI could decode. Fear spread fast. In one system, 3 Council destroyers tried to approach a human warship. They didn't fire. They only wanted to scan, just basic readings. They didn't even get close. A single pulse of light came from the human ship. The destroyers stopped moving. All power gone, systems dead. And when boarding teams arrived to investigate, they found something terrifying. The crews were alive, but frozen in place, eyes wide, mouths open. No wounds, no sound, just silence, as if time had stopped. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Idris prepared for something even bigger. Inside a hidden base deep under the surface, scientists were awakening. Something ancient, something called Project Black Echo. Only a few people in the galaxy had heard the name. Most believed it was a myth, but it was real. And now, because someone had scanned the HSS Revenant, the humans had unlocked the final key. "Are you sure we should release it?" General Raven asked. Idris looked at her. They asked for this, the moment they broke the rule. Outside Earth, hundreds of human ships were now gathering, moving like shadows. No one knew where they would strike first, but one thing was clear. The galaxy had poked the sleeping lion, and now the lion was fully awake. For days, human ships stayed quiet. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They only waited. Alien leaders began to relax. Some said humans were bluffing. Others believed Earth was just trying to scare the Council, but they were wrong. It started on the moon world HFY. A hidden Varn base used A for building long-range cannons. No one knew Earth even had the location. Then suddenly, boom, no missile was seen. No fleet arrived. Just one moment of peace, and the next, HFY was gone. Not damaged. Not bombed. Erased. The planet's core melted in seconds. Even the orbiting satellites turned to dust. Every species watching the event could only stare at the empty space where a world used to be. How? That was the question. The Council held an emergency meeting. Angry shouting filled the chamber. Some called for war. Others wanted peace. But deep down, they all knew the truth. Humanity had just sent a message. And the message was clear. We can reach you anywhere. Back on Earth, Project Black Echo was fully activated. Captain Idris stood inside the command chamber of the HSS Revenant. The ship now pulsed with strange energy, its walls glowing with deep red veins of power. "This ship is not just a weapon," Idris told the command crew. "It's a memory. A living history of every war humans ever survived." Then a quiet beep. Another location marked on the screen. Target locked. Varn Prime. Capital World. General Raven's voice came through the comms. "You sure you want to do this?" Idris didn't blink. "They scanned our soul. Now they will learn what lives inside it." Across the stars, fear turned into panic. And somewhere in deep space, the galaxy's monsters whispered to each other. "The humans have started to move. Nothing can stop them now." The galaxy had many kinds of warships. Some were massive and powerful. Some used dark energy or strange tech. but none were like the HSS Revenant. After the attack on HFY, every major power tried to learn what made the ship so deadly, but Earth refused to speak. No data leaked. No answers came, so the Council did the unthinkable. They sent spies. A stealth vessel from the Takari Empire reached Earth's orbit in silence. It moved close to the Revenant, staying hidden. The agents wore cloaking suits and entered the ship through a tiny maintenance hatch. What they found was not steel, it was bone. The walls inside were not made of metal. They were living tissue, pulsing slowly. The halls whispered in forgotten tongues. Lights flickered without a power source. One spy touched the floor and screamed, because the floor screamed back. "Something's wrong," whispered one agent. "This ship is alive!" Deeper inside, they saw shapes. Giant sealed doors with warning signs in a human language, and another, much older one. The signs read, "Do not open, not even in death." But they opened it anyway. Inside was a large chamber. In the center stood a coffin, but not for a human. It was made for something else. One agent got close, and the coffin opened. What came out was not a machine, not a soldier, not a beast. It was a shadow, a being made of pure darkness and red light. It looked at them, then whispered just one word: free. Back in the council chamber, alarms sounded. All screens showed one terrifying image. The Revenant was changing. Its surface peeled back to reveal layers of living armor, glowing eyes, and ancient marks. Symbols no one could read, but every species felt deep inside their minds. It was no longer a ship, it was a judge, and now that it was awake, the judgment would begin. The galaxy had seen enough. HFY was gone. The Revenant was alive. And now, the Council was afraid. For the first time in centuries, all major powers united. They built a war fleet, more than 3,000 ships, massive cruisers, dreadnoughts, energy, cannons the size of cities. The mission was simple: destroy the Revenant. Captain Idris stood calmly on the bridge of the Revenant. The red veins across the walls pulsed faster. The ship was not scared. In fact, it felt hungry. "They think numbers." "We'll help them," Idris said. "They don't understand. This ship is not from Earth's time." The human command tried to stop him. "You must pull back," General Raven said. "This could start the final war." But Idris only smiled. "It already has. In Sector 14, the Council fleet arrived. Scanners locked on. Weapons charged. Hundreds of ships aimed at the Revenant, now alone in deep space. The command was given. Fire! Thousands of energy blasts moved at light speed. The stars lit up like fireworks. Space trembled from the force of the attack, but when the light faded, the Revenant was still there, untouched. The front of the ship opened and released something. The galaxy had never seen a wave of pure silence. Not sound, not energy. Something deeper. It moved through the Council fleet like a ghost. Ships powered off. Crew members screamed as their memories twisted. Some forgot who they were. Others vanished completely. It was not a weapon. It was history itself, unmaking its enemies. On the Council flagship, Admiral Grevek fell to his knees. This is not war. This is punishment. Back on Earth, scientists studied the Revenant's old codes. One phrase kept repeating: "He who breaks the seal will face the first storm." They finally understood. The warship was built for one reason: to punish anyone who looked too deep into human power. The scan from the Varn ship didn't just break a law, it woke up a curse, and now the curse was moving. Part of the Council fleet still survived, scattered, terrified, sending one final message across the stars: "Run! Run before it sees you." The skies above the Council's homeworld, Veltraxis Prime, were filled with warships, thousands of guns aimed at a single ship, the HSS Revenant. But it didn't fire. It didn't move. It simply hovered in orbit. Council leaders watched in silence, sweat on their faces, claws shaking. No one dared speak until the ship itself did. A voice, not human, not machine, echoed in every mind across the planet. You forgot the truth. Now remember it. And suddenly, the sky opened. It wasn't an attack. It was a memory. The Revenant projected an ancient event, one erased from the history books. Every species saw it, felt it, lived it. Thousands of years ago, humans had once joined the galaxy in peace. They offered ideas, tech, and trade. But the Council had felt threatened by humans' minds, their creativity, their refusal to obey. So they made a plan. They betrayed Earth. They destroyed human colonies, blocked their ships, framed them for crimes, and finally, they made a secret rule. Never let the humans grow too strong. That rule led to the scan. That scan woke the Revenant. And now, the truth was out. The people of Veltraxis screamed. Their leaders had lied. Their history was fake. And the worst part? The Revenant wasn't built to kill them. It was built to remind them. It could have destroyed everything. But instead, it left. Just like that. Captain Idris's voice was the last thing the Council heard. We could have erased you, but we chose to let you live with the truth. The Revenant vanished into deep space. Its engines left behind no trail, only silence. And in that silence, every species remembered. You don't mess with humanity. You don't wake what sleeps, and you never break the rule again.